I think it's time that I yap about Kagepro. After seeing the amount of videos by friends and people in the fandom alike talking about Kagepro, how they got into it and why it's so special to them, I wanted to throw my hand to the mix. And I want to talk about why Kagepro I think will always be my favourite series I've ever consumed. This series means a great deal to me and has for over 5+ years now. It feels corny to say, but I fall in love with this series over and over and over again, and it really just never stops. I love Kagepro. I got into Kagepro around December 2019 as a close friend of mine had stumbled across Kuso Forest's MV in his YouTube recommended a few months earlier, and as he slowly made his way through the MV's novel and manga, he decided to try tempt me into checking it out by showing me bits and bobs for the project. And what ended up getting me was listening to Yobanashi Deceive and Kagerou Days for the first time. He put together a small amount of early MVs into a playlist and told me to listen to them and then check out Novel 1. I truly had never read anything like it, and while it took me a few months and some convincing to get me to read Novel 3 after my Novel 2 read, after I did, I was hooked. I still to this day remember the feeling of finishing Novel 7 and not wanting to pick up Novel 8 because I was genuinely upset I was never going to experience these novels for the first time ever again. Finishing the novels was an experience I'll never forget, and I still hold close to my heart, and after I got done reading the novels, I started reading the manga, which I finished at said friend's house, where we jumped into some remaining music videos and then the anime. My reaction to Out of Science for the first time was something he still brings up to this day, as I was so excited I made him replay it 1 or 2 times before we got onto Lost Time Memory. When we watched Makaku City Actors for the first time, it did take me a minute to get used to the shaft style despite seeing stuff like Bakemonogatari beforehand, but I still completely fell in love with it, as I was already connected to these characters through the manga and novel in a way I hadn't really experienced in any other piece of media I'd ever consumed before. One of my fondest memories of watching Makaku City Actors with my friend was I remember nearly breaking his arm when we watched the Lost Time Memory segment in Makaku City Actors, as it showed all of the past media, and to me it felt like an event. It felt like everything that I had read and consumed up to that point had been paid off. I could see the novel, the manga, and the music videos in this anime, and I was genuinely transfixed. And of course, when we got to episode 12 and Jin's cover of Summertime Record started playing, I cried. I cried like I had lost a friend. No other piece of media has ever made me feel so lost after finishing it. And while yes, there was also the Lost Day Hour comic as well, which is great, finishing Makaku City Actors was really emotional to me. It really did feel like I was losing something. All of these feelings still remain from me. I've never stopped loving this series, not even for a moment. It seems stuck in my psyche, and is connected with me like no other piece of media ever has, and I think ever will. The Kagerou Project to me is just special. It's akin to that old teddy bear you can't really throw away because you have such a special connection to it. Songs like Remind Blue, Summertime Record, and Lost Day Hour evoke feelings of saying goodbye to a friend moving away, while songs like Yuki Yesterday and Additional Memory evoke feelings of love that transcends time itself. My personal favourite though? Well, Imaginary Reload is a song that's about the second manga route, a song about fighting for the future, fighting for identity, and finding yourself in times where you think you've lost all hope, and even yourself. Mary in the song screams, "I won't lose," followed up by a lyric that has stayed in my brain since I've listened to it for the very first time. Then come on, for the first chapter, let's have a final battle. While this lyric is really cool to me because it's technically referring to the first canonical route of the Kagerou Project, Manga Route 2, and them having a final battle in the first canonical route of the whole thing, to me it's a lyric about perseverance, to fight for yourself, to fight for what is right, to make your life yours, and to always fight for the things that you believe in, like it will be your last breath you ever take. The song ends with these lyrics: "The world of my imagination and the future of my fantasies, I grip onto them into the present, becoming heavy. This colourful story, the accelerating present, I imagine them more and more. While I reach out, I'm sure, definitely, once I open my eyes, I'll laugh." To put it bluntly, the Kagerou Project is about how hope is never lost. That even when all hope does seem lost, you can still fight for what is right, for who you are, and the future you envision for yourself, and that you are the protagonist of your own story. This isn't even close to my full feelings on this massive multimedia franchise. I could talk forever about the nooks and crannies of the story and my own personal relationship with each song and each piece of media, but for now, I'll stop there. But before I go, Novel 6 is the best novel, Haruka / Konoha is my goat, Makaku City Actors is peak, Hayori is the 10th on member, read the novels, bye bye!